Live life so that you create good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you radiate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you generate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so as to emanate good vibes. The good vibes. Spread the message of your life with good vibes. With good vibes. With good vibes. Welcome to the Good Vibes Podcast. Hey my friends, and welcome to this episode of the Good Vibes. I'm super excited that you are over here. Today we will continue on our journey of evolved learning. Evolved learning is when we learn from all the people in our lives and otherwise, all the things and experiences that we encounter. In general, we learn from life. So get pumped up now to feel alive with the good vibes. Hey my friends, and welcome to this episode of the Good Vibes. Today we'll be talking about how to stay on top of things. In other words, how to not be affected by the things that affect us. Now this story of mine dates back a long time. I used to be affected by everything that my sister does. If she would tease me, I would get affected. If she copies me, I would get affected. It was a sibling kind of thing, and I was also a little immature at that time, and I would just get affected by everything that she does. I would give my whole life's key to her. I would let her key me up. I would let her wind me, unwind me. I would give all that power, that internal power of mine to her. And I realized that after a really long time, when I reached 8th grade or 9th grade, I got the realization that I have to take back this power that I've given to another person. Because it's a life lesson. If you give your power to the other person, you're solely dependent on how that person is going to use it. You really give it away. And it started bothering me recently too, of some nuances of hers which are natural to a person, and we shouldn't expect to change it. We need to accept it, and that was kind of getting me fuzzled. And I asked myself, how can I be on top of things? How can I be above and beyond all of this? You can also relate this to your life. By many times we've had discussions about other people and unnecessary chatter and commotion about something that isn't really worthwhile and meaningful to us. If you've been in that conversation, raise your hand. I've raised my hand because sometimes we just end up in conversations which we really don't want to be in, but we get into it, and if we regularly have those conversations, we start becoming involved in it. We give our brains energy to it, and we are now in the circle. So if it's by chance a negative circle, it's difficult to get out of it because now you're in the circle. So this is for you if you want to break out of something. If you want to break out of some circle, maybe it's an internal kind of thing, maybe it's external, maybe you just want to rise above something. You want something not to bother you anymore. This one's for you. So the first thing I would like to say is, to rise above it all, you need to really overlook a lot. That's the key. Overlooking is the key to happiness. If something is bothering you, you need to overlook it. Just imagine there are 7 billion people on this planet, and the number of people you know, or maybe work under you, or are your partners, or study with you, the chances of 1 out of 7 billion people or the number of people, the chances of any person on this world whom you know to screw up or mess up or do something wrong that will affect you is not zero. There is a chance, and maybe it may be high or low, I can't tell you that. But the chances of something wrong happening are definitely high, because if you perceive it, if you look at it, there is something or the other which is going to happen which you may not like or appreciate. It's going to happen and you can't stop it, but you can overlook it. And that's what I want to talk about, because when you overlook it, you keep your power of managing yourself and your mood with yourself. You're not giving it to anybody. You're keeping it solely with yourself. The other day I was in a bus and there was suddenly a dispute between the conductor and another driver. And the whole bus started getting upset about the same thing, because the driver and the conductor had a shouty kind of conversation, and then the passenger and the conductor had a shouty kind of conversation. And then the whole bus got aroused with this feeling of distress and anger. And I recognized it. And I said, I'm not giving my power to these people. I'm not going to lead their example. I'm going to manage my own mood. It's about taking personal accountability. So there's a lot of overlooking that you have got to do, and that's going to take some personal responsibility. Because if you get myopic into the details of what someone has done wrong, you can be stuck there forever. And that's not going to help you move ahead. Again, I want to remind you that the goal is to move ahead. It's not to be stuck at the small problems or the small mishaps that happen in and around your day, because that's going to happen every day. It may not happen some days, but on a general day, there are thousands of things that you can get really myopic about and tell someone that because of this thing, it spoiled your day. You're being a victim to your day that way. And when you're in the victim state, you're not going to achieve a lot. You're going to get into the state of complaining, cynical. You're going to become cynical, and you're not going to see life for how beautiful it is. So when you start overlooking things, you're actually being magnanimous. You're being a giant. You're being big. The problem starts seeming smaller to you, and you can avoid it and you can just move past it. Another example, I went to the swimming pool at 6 o'clock instead of 4. So 4 is the non-crowded time which I like, and this time I went at 6. And it was a reason that I could have got distressed about, because there's more crowd, more likelihood of you dashing into someone during your swimming, and that's irritating sometimes, because you don't like to be dashed when you're swimming. It breaks the flow. You have to again get back into the flow and swim again. So what I did was I made this into a game. Every time I dash someone, I changed my swimming style. If I was doing freestyle and I dashed someone, I started doing breaststroke. If I was doing breaststroke and I dashed someone, I started doing freestyle. And because it was so often, it became a fun game. I was waiting for the next person to come and dash me, and so that I could change my style and play the game. I started having fun with this game. So can you do something like that for something you want to overlook? Maybe if there's someone who keeps irritating you, or you find yourself getting stuck about something every time, can you change it into something fun? Can you make it something more exciting, something which will draw you towards it and shift your perspective, shift your outlook towards that thing? So we've covered 3 points. I've lost, I didn't name them, but the first is overlooking the small thing. The second is personal responsibility. You got to take that personal responsibility and tell yourself, I'm going to keep my mood to myself. If If I'm happy right now and someone else is not so happy, is giving negative vibes, I'm not going to soak that in and project it later. I'm going to keep the good vibes with me. I'm going to walk with it. I'm going to talk with it. I'm going to move around with it. So take that personal accountability of managing your mood. And if you find yourself in a grumpy mood, just take a minute to start shifting it. Take a minute to start shifting it, because each moment is important. Take a moment to start shifting it and start viewing things from the larger picture. Start appreciating things. So let me just get back to track and I'll talk about this in a while. So the first is you need to overlook things. The second is take personal accountability for your mood, for what you're doing and how you're feeling. The third is make it a game. Bring in the fun in it. Why are you keeping it like a problem still? If there's a way to make it fun, if there's something that you've not seen really clearly, go and see it clearly and find the fun in the same thing that you felt was annoying. Find the fun, bring in the joy. And the fourth is start appreciating things. So if you get myopic about something and you want to get over and above something, and you find yourself stuck in that situation where you can't look beyond someone or something, start appreciating the things in your life. That immediately shifts your mind to the positive. It immediately brings in better things to think about. It immediately gets you over and above that thing or person. Every time you think about something good in your life, you're going over and above the myopic problem of yours. Every time you think of something over and beyond, every time you appreciate something in your life or you feel grateful for something in your life, you're going over and beyond that problem which always frustrates or annoys you. So it's crucial to start being grateful for the things in the time when you feel that you've lost it all or it's just not happening and there's nothing to feel grateful about. That's the time to start recollecting your things that have helped you, that have brought you so far. That's the time to start counting your blessings. And once you do that, you're going to be above and beyond what you want to break out of. You're going to be above and beyond all that. You're going to be able to see it in a new perspective and it won't affect you that much. It'll gradually stop affecting you at all, but by practicing this, it'll stop affecting you the way it is. It doesn't, small things don't need to take away your brain space and your brain energy, because that's far too precious to generate. If you've seen, all the machines in the world combined can't generate the brain energy and thoughts that you can generate every second. There's no machine made to generate thoughts and ideas or thoughts and perceptions or outlooks that can just be generated by our mind. There's no machine in the world which can do that. So value that and stop letting small things affect you. This is to get over those small things. This is to rise to greatness. This is to rise to your better self. It's to rise to serve those around you. And that's why it's essential. I hope you enjoyed this one. So overlook, the summary of the podcast today is overlook the small things. The second is take enough personal accountability to make sure that you don't lose your mood or cool. Don't give your power to someone else. Keep that power with you. That's a way of keeping personal accountability. Just because someone's in a bad mood, just because someone's upset and has said something bad to you, you don't need to take that and project it back to them or anyone else. Take the personal accountability of telling yourself, I'm going to be this way, I'm happy right now, and I'm going to stay happy regardless of how the people around me are. The third is bring in the joy, bring in the fun, make it a game. Start playing it like a video game. Like maybe there's an annoying person, or maybe there's something. Just make a game. Give yourself bonus points. Make it a game and play it like a game. You'll bring in the fun, and it no longer will feel the same way. Those small things won't matter anymore. And the fourth is to start appreciating the small things, to start appreciating immediately when you feel you're stuck up or myopic about something. When you do these four things, you will see that you're above and beyond what you wanted to be above and beyond. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'll meet you again next time. Hey my friends, did you enjoy this podcast? If you did, do rate, review and subscribe to it on iTunes or whichever app or application you are using. And if you feel someone in your life needs to hear this message, don't think twice about sharing it. Or if you feel this inspires you to record one of your own podcasts, go ahead and spread the good vibes. Spread the message of your life with good vibes.